on.
Come along, get ready, well, your brand new girl. Well, it's gonna be our meeting in this good old town. Let's shut our streets on the gold and red. I just up and kissed her and to me is what she said. Please, oh please, how can I let me go? You are mine, and I love you best of all. Can you be my man?
Hello, everyone. Sunday morning, Labor Day. Happy Labor Day, everyone. I hope people are enjoying this Monday and today, the 3-day weekend with their families, cookouts, events, and stuff like that. This is a follow-up video to the one I made in Moorehead City of my vinyl finds at a local thrift store, because I found some more at a flea market outside of Moorehead City the day before we left to go home from our vacation. What we opened up with the music of Leon Redbone. I got 2 of his albums here. Very great condition, plays great. I got it at thrift stores. And Leon, I got the Wikipedia going here. Leon Redbone, born in 1949, is a singer-guitarist specializing in interpretation of early 20th century music, including jazz, blues, standards, and Tin Pan Alley classics. Recognized for his traditional Panama hat, dark glasses, bow tie, Redbone's first appeared on stage in Toronto, Canada in the mid-70s, and anyone my age who used to watch the old Saturday Night Live, he made a number of appearances there, and being a rock and roller, I thought, oh, this is too odd for me, I don't understand it, but you know, you grow older and become more open-minded, and knowing the musical tree is just not rock and roll, but it has many branches, and you know, one idea springs off another. So I'm happy to have these albums, and you know, Leon's a really cool guy, and he's still performing, touring, and all that. Let me see, appearances in other media, career, and his music. I was looking at the instruments, you know, tuba, trumpet, trombone, you know, very minimalistic. No guitars except acoustics, no electric guitars, and not a lot of drums. I noticed I see just one track with drums, clarinet, you know, that type. Anyway, before we left to go home from our vacation, Moorehead City, we went to a big flea market, you know, with the tin roofs and all that, and just selling a lot of stuff. And there's just one vendor there. He's there every year, and he mainly sells books and albums, and he has like 10 crates of albums, and every year I go there, I manage to dig about 5, 6, 7, 8 items up that I end up buying. So I want to show those off, and we'll start with the a band that's legendary. They had a lot of hit albums and singles in the 70s, and had a very unique sound, and that is the Electric Light Orchestra. On the 3rd day, I think this is their 3rd album, and on this album, you know, Jeff Lane is the leader. He writes all the songs, the arrangements, and all that, and he was really getting his sound together, defining it more, and it has the hit Showdown and Mama Ma Bell. So I listened to this, it's very good. Not quite as commercial as albums to come, and it's on the old Universal label. before they started their own label. Jet, I think it is. So happy to get that, add to my ELO collection. A group that came, I think, out of Los Angeles, and they had a number of hits. Lowrider gets a little higher, you know, and a whole lot of others. Everyday music. War, in their, I think, 77 release Galaxy, and it only has like 5 tracks, and they're all long. One track, the 7-10 Soldiers, 14 minutes and something. But I've always enjoyed War, listening to their hits or their long jams. So I'm happy to have that. Let's see what else we got here. Another group I've had good luck of finding their LPs at thrift stores. The progressive rock band of the early 70s into the 70s, and that's Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Very, very good condition album cover. It's the heavy stock gray paper there, and this is, I could tell this is an early pressing because there's no copyright warnings on it, as they did put them on 73, 4, 5 in that time, and continue today. The album cover's in great shape, except for some wear marks around here, there, but it's very minor, and no splits in this area. Also, what's cool is the inner jacket, which holds the album, is original too, because they have all the artists who was on the label there. And people I never heard of, I actually Googled some of these people. Tyrone Davis, who was a big soul singer. Let's see who else. Names I can't pronounce. Brooke Benton, who had that big, who had a strain of rhythm and blues hits, but the big hit, 1970, Rainy Night in Georgia, which I always loved. So, that's cool. This was their last album of the 60s. Came out in 69. Volunteers by the Jefferson Airplane, as they were called back then. And this album is very praised by critics and fans. It's very psychedelic, experimental. No hits on it, but interesting cover. Fold out a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and the inner jacket, it's just plain black, but you got this little poster inside of, weird, looks like this progressive, an underground publication, and on the other side lyrics with some funny news items in there, make believe, I guess. The best of Dave Mason, the British guitarist. I think he was in Traffic, and this is all his best album tracks and hits. He did have the hits as We Just Disagree, terrific version of Feeling Alright, and All Along the Watchtower. Very solid album. I liked all the tracks except maybe one skip over. An artist who's very renowned, been around since the 60s, considered like maybe the female Bob Dylan, is Joni Mitchell and her 1985 release, Dog Eat Dog. It's on the very, very shiny, clean copy here. Great condition. It's on the Geffen Records. And a lot of Joni Mitchell fans hated this album because it's drenched in 80s mid-80s production, and people like Thomas Dolby, you remember him, you know, Blinded by Science, was involved with the production of this album. But I played one side of it. I like what I've heard of it so far, and it's when an artist, you know, change their sound or, you know, try to explore. It's the hardcore fans that try to poo-poo it, and I hate hardcore fans. Canadian rocker Aldo Novo, if I pronounce it right. They hit the hit Fantasy, and I tried to give it a listen to. The guy's voice is really, you know, lays flat with me. Some good guitar work here and there, but maybe I need to give it another listen to. The master storyteller who died way too early, Harry Chapin, a portrait gallery. Very cool art there. So I'll give that a listen to. I haven't yet. The best of Carly Simon, great condition, and I'm on a thread, a Beatle thread, for a couple of years now, and have really developed a good friendship with a number of people, well, all of them, but especially a number of people. And I want to point out, looking at the musicians that played on this album, very Beatle related. Producing many of the tracks, a lot of them, is Richard Perry, who of course produced Ringo, the famous Ringo album. And bass, Klaus Voormann, who's a good Beatle insider, and of course who's an artist, a bass player, very renowned, and he designed the Revolver album cover. Let's see who else. Jim Gordon, who co-wrote Layla with Eric Clapton, but who has had, who's serving a prison term. He has mental problems, and so he's serving probably a life sentence for a murder. Very, very sad. And let's see who else is on here. Oh yeah, Tony Levin, who was in the band Memory Block, King Crimson, and also played, was on John Lennon's last album, Double Fantasy. And baritone sax, Bobby Keys, of course, he's toured and been on many Rolling Stones tracks. And this one, all those albums I paid $1 for, but they had a separate vendor who had really good condition, new, you know, classic rock type of albums. Let me change this, or put the needle back on the beginning. And so I brought this one because it was in really great condition, and it's a classic Pink Floyd album. And I had to pay $5 for it, but I thought well worth it, because this could sell on eBay easily in the condition it is in. for maybe like $35, but I didn't buy it because of that. It's the Pink Floyd 1980 album, The Wall. And the vinyl is in great condition. It comes with the original inner sleeve and the little sticker that identifies the album. It's not a sticker, it's just a tag that was in the shrink wrap. And of course it has the hits Run Like Hell and Another Brick in the Wall. Another concept album is what Pink Floyd's always done in their later work. I was never a big Pink Floyd fan until later. I always saw all these sound effects get to the meat of the tracks, but I realized that while they did have some hit singles, you've got to listen to their entire album as a body of work. So I have The Wall. A few other things I want to mention and show, and we'll wrap this up. The first video was a selection of that I did in Moorehead City, was showing off the vinyl I found at a local thrift store, and I got a chance to listen to them all. And the ones that really stood out for me was the Eurythmics, their 86 release called Revenge. And it has a really 80s production. You know, they were pioneers of that sound. And I really liked this album a lot. You know, there was no skip over tracks. And it has more of a rock sound than their usual sound. And the Chronicles, Stevie Winwood, a collection of his best work from the 80s. And it really has that 80s sound to it. So they were good. And one other item, let me Wikipedia this, because my knowledge of this band is very limited. Come on, pointer. Yeah, there you are. Thank you for bearing with me. Went to my regular thrift store down the street and found an album that should not be at thrift stores by now. I mean, you should see this in about 7-8 years ahead of its time. And everything's on CD now, but vinyl is making the comeback, and a lot of artists are releasing their stuff on vinyl. 180 gram pure vinyl. And this group is very popular right now. They're a new group that really made it with their debut album a few years ago, and their new album shot up to #1 on Billboard. And Mumford & Son is an English folk rock band. The band consists of blah 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 blah. Formed in December 2007, emerged from the West London with such artists. Okay. Anyway, there it is. This should have not been a thrift store right now. So, while the way of buying their music is either downloading or getting the CD, it's also available on 180 gram vinyl, and here it is, right here, pure vinyl. And retail price, you have to buy this at a specialty store, is like $18, $19, $20. I found it at the thrift store. It was in a special crate with the higher price albums, but $7.99. So I could not turn. This has been on my list to buy anyway. So there it is. Sounds great. A few clicks and pops here and there, but you know, that's fine. So happy to find that. That should not be at a thrift store right now. Show you one other thing and we'll wrap this up. Going back to vinyl, you know, gradually I've been buying vintage stereo equipment, or, you know, getting a setup for vinyl, the turntable and all that, and I'm still in that process. What I did find, and I want to take the camera off and show you. This was, I got this absolutely free. It was being thrown out. It was in front of a house at the college where, with a rental sign. So apparently the owners, you know, put it on the street, and I saw it. What it is, it's a graphic equalizer, Pioneer. Trying to see that, BG 9800, and each channel left and right has 12 knobs, and they light up at red. I'm not going to turn the lights off, but you can see the red there. And it really gives a boost to the sound, and you could make the adjustments and all that. So, you know, I have the integrated amp, equalizer, and the bookshelf speakers. And what was also with it was something called a Pioneer GR dynamic processor. I am not sure what this does. We'll put it on. So if anyone can educate me on it, because it sounds like it compresses the sound and makes it lower. But anyway, I'm happy to find the graphic equalizer. I mean, I plugged it in, it works perfect. It's into the system now, and you know, I can make the adjustments if I feel like a certain recording needs some, you know, more mid-range or some more bass or more treble, you know, instead of just relying on these knobs here, the bass and treble. I got an expansion. So very happy to find that, and it was absolutely free. I just took it home, shined up the plate. It has that very vintage 70s look. So anyway, this video is running quite long, 23 minutes now, so what I'm going to do is cut it off. Let me mount the camera back. Thank you. When you by yourself, you're by yourself, and you have to do this by yourself.
Had a front door shut, back with two, blind so down, what you gonna do? You gotta stay with them rules. You gotta stay with them rules.
Well, and that was, and this was Leon Redbone.
Had a little girl, her name was Bo. Give it, took it all, you gotta stay with them rules.
Yeah.
Gotta stay with them rules.
Bye-bye, y'all. Yeah, have a good Labor Day. Bye.
Had a little girl, her name was Bo. Give it, she took it all, she gotta stay with them rules.
Boy, this sounds so good, I want to cut the camera off.
You can't stay with them, no, you gotta stay with them rules.
Here you go. Bye-bye.